Our honored speaker is here today from her home in Seattle, Washington, to explain how all of this works. For some of you, it will be a straight line, and for others, it will be a crooked path. Nonie Creme graduated from Williston in 1990 when the first President Bush was in office. She carries a Williston diploma with pride and traces some of her most meaningful influences to her alma mater and teachers who remain friends to this day. Hi, Marcia. Ms. Creme is an entrepreneur, successful businesswoman, creative talent, and most importantly, a loyal Willie. I won't spoil too much of her biography for you, but I hope she tells us whether being dubbed a fashionista is a good thing or not. In any event, after a highly successful career with the famous brand Butter London, Ms. Creme launched out on her own. You guys have her nail polish from the other day. A fiercely independent impulse that she has had her whole life. Please join me in welcoming back Nonie Creme.
Thank you. I'm not that tall even with heels on. Good morning. Thank you so much for sharing your commencement day with me. I'm extremely happy to be back. I have not been back since I sat in your chair and graduated myself in 1990. When I was 15, I ran away from home. Now, as you'll get to know, when I decide to do something, I don't mess around. And that's why our story begins in a Santa Fe jail cell. Turns out it's illegal to be a minor on the run 900 miles from home. It was around this time my folks said to me, "You seem like a decent kid, but this whole living at home thing is really not working out." So they began looking at boarding schools. I mean, between boarding school and jail, it's kind of a no-brainer. Frankly, I was a really messed up teen. I had a total inability to control my emotions, zero ability to censor, which I still do, which got me into plenty of trouble. I just felt really, really angry, almost all of the time. I hated my body, I hated my family, I hated my own insecurity, and the mere whiff of any form of authority sent me into a core meltdown. Off the record, I will admit that authority is something I still really, really struggle with, which is why I start companies and work for myself, but we'll get to that. Anyway, the main criteria for my boarding school choices was that they had to be far, far away. That was about it. For me, looking at schools was scary and upsetting. I wasn't going by choice. And I felt adrift and scared and aimless and unwanted. I was 16. When I came from my Williston interview, I was so intimidated. Everyone on campus looked really sophisticated and grown up, and I felt like a southern yokel in like mom jeans and a sweater from the Limited, which you guys are too young to know about, but it's really bad. Yeah, I had never really left home before, apart from all the running away, and I was beginning to realize that there was a very big difference between Massachusetts and South Texas. And I wanted in. The deal was sealed when this really cute junior guy gave me my tour. And I was like, "Mom, I'm going here." Thankfully, Williston felt the same. And I'll be honest here, my grades were not impressive. And it was probably a pretty close call, but what sticks with me is that Williston recognized a kid with potential. It was no secret that I came with baggage, but Williston was ready to give me a nurturing, attentive home when my own home wasn't viable. And that's where this story really begins. Like I said, I had never left home before, and let me tell you, I didn't know it at the time, but I was a really spoiled brat. which became pretty clear when I was informed that there was not, in fact, a maid service, and that I would be washing my own clothes. I had never even touched a washing machine before. I felt like an idiot. Too proud to ask for help, I decided that the best course of action was to hide my dirty clothes in my bed under the fitted sheet. And yes, this is a totally true story. Slowly, I ran out of clothes. Underwear became a distant memory. I was panic-stricken when, at last, my roommate noted that my bed was a full foot taller than hers and stunk. Yeah. And so, eating a big slice of humble pie, I finally asked my dorm dad, Mr. Talea, to show me how those mysterious machines in the basement worked. It sounds silly, but that small step toward independence set me on a course that undeniably helped begin my healing and growing process. Okay, I'll take a brief break from memory lane here to tell you who I am now, so that you don't call security and have me removed. I have since helped found 2 beauty companies, one called Butter London and the other Color Prevails, and I consult globally for every company you've ever bought a nail polish, lipstick, or mascara from. So, did I leave Williston and go to Columbia? Attend Harvard Business School? No. I just learned some crucial lessons here that helped me not only get into college, but also helped me understand that a meaningful academic journey is based on more than just good grades. Thank God. I started my first ever beauty business as a penniless illegal alien in London. Why was I in London? Well, because I followed a British boy home and he was going to be a rock star, so clearly I was never going to have to do anything as pedestrian as get a job. When rock stardom eluded us, I would stand outside the subway station in the financial district every morning with a basket full of nail supplies and hand out little scraps of paper with my number on them. By lunchtime, I'd be fully booked doing desk-side manicures, going office to office for the fancy businesswomen. Now, I couldn't have known that filing nails for 10 pounds would eventually lead to a $20 million nail polish company, but the important takeaway is this: figure shit out. Don't just stand there wringing your hands when life doesn't throw a 4.0 at you. Plot a course, be brave, and put one foot in front of the other. That's it. You don't have to be the smartest, you don't have to be the prettiest, and you don't need more than 10,000 followers. You just need to know what you're doing. You don't have to know what you'll be doing in 5 years. Know what you are doing today. And for any of you ignoring this speech and playing on your iPhone, my Insta handle is @Nonie Creme. Eventually, yeah, I know, I see you. I got eyes. Eventually, I got so good at doing nails that a top London agent picked me up and started sending me out to do nails for Vogue cover stories, London and New York, Paris, Milan Fashion Week, and people like Rihanna, who was like 12 at the time, Naomi Campbell, and Kate Moss. It's worth noting here that if you go to do a manicure at Kate Moss's house, it can take up to 3 days of your life. You will come home wearing your shirt inside out and backward, and you won't remember anything, which is probably for the best. Anyway, I used to hand mix all of my polishes, and they became a sort of cult thing that everyone in London wanted. I knew I needed a nail polish company to sell this stuff, But like I said, I have no business degree, and I had no idea how to raise money or start a company. Excuse me. And then I met a girl about my age who did have a business degree and did know how to do those things. The only problem was she lived in Seattle and I lived in London. Finally, we agreed to share the company and shoot for the stars. Our first office was her kitchen, and I created the Butter London polish range with $5,000 and a whole lot of hand mixing. Where am I? Sorry, it was a long night. I left everything to do this. I left my amazing job that I had created all by myself. I left my beautiful London apartment, and most importantly, I left my British husband in the apartment when I left, and we were long distance for 2 years afterward. Oh yeah, I married the rock star skater kid, partially because I loved him and partially because I was still really pissed at my parents. If you want to do great things with your life, you better be prepared to take some very real risks. Even today, any of my projects or my companies could go down at any moment. And I've crashed and burned as many times as I've succeeded. Trying things is scary. You may go broke a couple of times. Check. You may fail publicly. Check. You may have your doctor tell you that your endocrine system is collapsing from chronic stress and fatigue. Double check. But then you have a hit. You create a company or a product that takes off and the money pours in and you get to be a rock star after all. Man, that's a feeling that is just indescribable for a kid who grew up thinking that she was a loser and a no-hoper. When I gave the commencement speech at my college, Scripps College, last year, I opened by stating that I was probably the first straight C student to ever give the speech. So let me go all in here at Williston and tell you I was lucky if I ever made a C here. But don't think for 1 second that I wasn't learning. Grades are based on a series of tests designed to gauge academic progress. What they don't gauge is personal growth. Only you know how smart you really are, and only you can choose to use that intellect to succeed. You know, make good grades or don't, but please, I beg you, well, not you, graduate. P.S. It turns out that I'm super duper smart and I'm able to operate in the business realm with no business degree and no prior experience, just a really big mouth and a great education that taught me so much despite my many efforts to fail. So if you didn't get into the college you wanted, or you're scared you won't, please know that you can still be the next Steve Jobs. Don't drop out. Or Estee Lauder, or Donald Trump. I'm totally kidding. I strictly forbid you from becoming the next Donald Trump. No. Hear, hear. Boarding school is a unique experience. People who don't go to boarding school can never really understand what it's like. You're forced to be an adult from a really young age. You have to manage situations where there would normally be an adult mediator, and you have to figure them out in order to keep the peace. When I was living in Willie, which is now Conant House, I was a chubby goth kid. I listened to Dag Nasty and Suicidal Tendencies. Thank you, Pat Burns. And I pierced my own ears weekly until there was no lobe left to pierce. Friendships saved my life. I came to Williston from a classic Southern day school where jocks and cheerleaders ruled and anyone different got shut out. One of my best friends at Williston was a dude, soccer jock named Ashley, who wore head-to-toe LL Bean. And although we had zero in common from a fashion perspective, we loved and accepted each other completely. Everyone here did. Dee Griffin is still one of my best friends. And all I can say is that even as adults, she overlooks my bad haircut and the many bikers I bring to her New York home. And thank God her fiance is a detective with NYPD's finest, because damn it all, bikers just love to get arrested. But don't take my word for it. My Willie tribe are all right here, right now, today. Because first of all, you are my tribe. And whether you like it or not, you're stuck with me now. And also because several of my 40-something-year-old gang got on planes, trains, and automobiles to come and be here with me today as I give this speech 25 years after our graduation. Now that is what I call showing up Williston style. Thank you, I love you guys. It's important in high school and college to try stuff. That's why you're here. It's acceptable to be a punk one semester and a prep the next, to try lacrosse one season and then switch to advanced cigarette smoking. I was the captain of that team. The next, exploring different parts of your personality will be an asset when you're out in the real world. Do you know what won't be an asset when you're out in the real world? Yeah, a neck tattoo. Yeah, now there's a really bad idea. As a silver-haired Rick Owens wearing 44-year-old mom who lives with a Grateful Dead tattoo on her ass and a piece of 1990s tribal work across her skull, I can tell you, I'm right on this one. In fact, I will give you $1 million if you can call me up when you're 40 and tell me you love the tattoo, you got it off the map. Pierce whatever you want, holes heal. And no, you can't just get tattoos removed. My deadhead tramp stamp now looks like someone sprayed it with Windex. Removal made that thing bigger, not smaller. I'm not even sure how that's possible. Williston would not give up on me, even when I did. They knew I had smarts. They knew I could make it if I could just stay out of my own way long enough. They had to invent an entirely new level of triple secret, last chance for real this time, probation when I went here. And there weren't enough clipboards in the world to dissuade me from floating kegs down the Manhan, which is probably why they filled it in and made it a bike path. Yeah, it used to be a river. Yeah, that's right. Sorry. Every time I messed up or self-destructed, the Williston administration would firmly, but kindly, step in and remind me that I would not be happy if I got sent home. My home was here, and here is where I was kept safe and allowed to make mistakes in a controlled environment so that I could learn from them and mature. We were a sort of self-governing group of teens. We had each other's backs, but when somebody was acting like a jerk, they still got schooled. Our dorm parents and the admin were there to oversee, but most of my social skills and a lot of my business acumen were born after hours at Willie, Conant House, or let's be honest, Ford, since that's where I actually slept most of the time, where nightly forums, hey now, on all subjects guided us toward adulthood. I know that shit still goes down. Those are skills that I have to use every day in my business now. I'm gonna take a moment. Don't believe me? Then you try and tell Anna Wintour that yes, this is your natural hair color, and oh, you forgot the custom mixed nail polish that you made for her. Then run, fast. I retain more friendships from Williston than from any other period in my life, and I've lived, people. That's proof of how critical this place is and how critical these relationships are to you at this stage of your life. There are limited grown-ups here, and although the ones that are here are awesome, it's you who ultimately are raising each other, and you are doing a really fucking good job. Go to college. Study all sorts of stuff, not just the stuff that you think will land you the best employment. Remember that being an artist and being a business leader are not mutually exclusive. Oh, I lost my place again. Sorry. And remember, above all, trust yourself, because you are the most important person you know. It's not lost on me that there are many people out there who might say a woman who won't dye her hair and wears a skinhead and a septum ring doesn't belong in the beauty industry and certainly couldn't be the meaningful founder of a multi-million-dollar business. Well, because of the love and support that I received right here at Williston, I have the confidence to say, screw you, I can do whatever I want. And so can you, and so will you. Congratulations, class of 2016. Now go kick some ass.